Greetings, YouTube. The doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Pathfinder 2. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or a comment. So we're going to do another series in our review of Pathfinder 2 rules. So you'll want to learn how to play Pathfinder 2, because this is Pathfinder 2, not Pathfinder 1. And we're going to talk about classes. And the kind of the overall system around how Pathfinder 2 does classes, not necessarily about each of the classes themselves, although I'm going to show you an overall summary of every one of the classes and how many different classes there are. Not every single one, but most of the classes. So the classes are a little bit different in Pathfinder 2 than they are in Dungeons and Dragons. So there's a key ability for each class. So for, like a fighter, it could be Dex or Strength. The class gives you hit points, much like your race or your ancestry does give you hit points. You get initial proficiencies, and we'll talk about the proficiency system. It's a very different system. There's an advancement table that tells you what you get at every level. And then there are a lot of different class features. There's class feats. So every time you go up a level, you get something for your character. And there are feats specific to your character class. So for instance, there's fighter feats versus champion feats versus cleric feats. And you get to choose a feat at certain levels from a list of feats at those levels for that class, and they're listed in here. Then there's skill feats and general feats, and it'll tell you on the advancement table when you get those. Then there's ability boost, so you get to increase your ability scores. And of course, you get ancestry feats as you go up levels too, and those are automatic depending on your ancestry. So here is a listing of all of the classes in the core rule book. So we've got Alchemist, Barbarian, Bard, Champion, which is also, there's a couple of different kinds of champions. We'll look at that a little bit, but one of them is a Paladin. You've got Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Monk, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer, and Wizard. And so that's like a Goblin, probably Alchemist, because he's got a bomb. So if we look at the first page of like the Alchemist, it gives a key ability, which is Intelligence. It gives what hit points you start with. And then on this side over here, it talks about your initial proficiencies, whether you're trained in Perception or not, because that's separate from the rest of your proficiencies. What your training level is in saving throws. Remember, everything has a training level in Pathfinder 2. What you're trained in as far as attacks go, what you're trained in as far as your defenses, and then what your class DC is based off of. And then here's the Alchemist advancement level chart. So like at first level, you get your ancestry and your background, you get your initial proficiencies, you get the alchemy feature, you get the formula book, research field, and you get a single alchemist feat. And then at second level, you get another alchemist feat and a skill feat. At third level, a general feat, a skill increase, which increases your training level in a skill that you are already proficient in. Fourth level, you get another alchemist feat and another skill feat. And like fifth level, you get an ability boosts and an ancestry feat, field discovery, and skill increase. So, and it kind of goes through all of the things you get. Like, here's the alchemy feature. And so, over time, you can create more alchemical items. You gain the alchemical crafting feat. And then you can use the feat to create alchemical items as long as you have the feats for them. You also get all of this stuff, too. So, and then there's the formula book, which is up here. There's the research field. So this is kind of like your specialty. And for Alchemist, it's just called research field. And you choose Your inquiries into the alchemical nature of the universe have led you to focus on a particular field of research. Choose a field of research. So you can choose from bomb, chirurgeon, or mutagenicist. One of these three. And then they list like skill feats and things like that. Now, if we go, and then they tell you what you get at different levels here. And then if we go to the next one, remember I said we get alchemist feat at certain levels. So at first level, we get an alchemist feat. And here are the first level alchemist feats. So for example, alchemical familiar, alchemical savant, far lobber, quick bomber. And then when you reach second level, you can get a second level alchemist feat as outlined here. And you could choose another first level alchemist feat, or you could choose a second level alchemist feat. So, and so on and so forth. So if we look at, say, not the bard, let's look at the champion. So there's the picture for the champion. Here is the opening page for the champion. The key ability, which is strength or dexterity. Hit points, initial proficiencies, perception, saving throw skills, attacks, defenses, class DC, and spells, because they do get some spells. And then they give all the features, the champion advancement table, all the features. And for a paladin, or for a champion, you have a deity and you have a cause. So if you are lawful good, then your cause is a paladin. If you are neutral good, you are deemed a redeemer. And if you are chaotic good, you are a liberator. And these are all very different from each other because they all have these champion reaction abilities that are very different from each other depending on which specialty, deity and cause. Remember, for alchemist, it was alchemist field of research. For the champion, it's deity and cause. And that changes with each specialty. And here's our champion feats. Some of these feats require you to have a prerequisite, like ranged reprisal requires you to have the paladin cause. Unimpeded step requires you to have the liberator cause. And if we look at the next, like clerics, here's their opening page, their class advancement, what they can do, divine spell casting, divine font, and then they have a doctrine. And so there's cloistered or war priest. So you get two choices. You choose one of those two. Here's your spell chart. So what cantrips, what first and up to all the way 9th, 10th level, because there's 10th level spells in Pathfinder 2. And then here's the feats, cleric feats. And only clerics can get these feats unless you do a multi-classing, which we'll talk about that. It's very different than what it is in D&D. Okay, so again, if we go all the way back, to the beginning here, these are the base classes, and each one of these has a choice to make as to which direction or which specialty you want to go into. So like we said, for the alchemist, there were 3 different ones. For the champion, there were 3 different ones. For the cleric, there were 2. And there's numerous choices for each one. So in the Advanced Player's Guide, there are 4 classes here: Investigator, Oracle, Swashbuckler, and Witch. And these all have their own specialties too to choose from, and then feats to choose from as well. And then in Secrets of Magic, we have one of my favorite ones, which is the Magus. And this is Celtiel, who is a Magus, and then the Summoner. So we got 2 new classes here. And, of course, they come with their own specialties and their own feats. And then in Gears and Guns, we have the Gunslinger. There's one other class in here called the Inventor. I'm not going to go over that one, but the main one in this one is the Gunslinger, which is very different from Pathfinder 1. I'm just going to say it's different. So basically that is just a rundown of the class structure and where the choices. So the choices in the big difference for Dungeons and Dragons players between Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder 2 is in Dungeons and Dragons, your choices happen when you want to either choose an ability increase or choose a feat at like 4th and 8th level. And then also if you want a multi-class. So every time you go up a level, you can choose to take the level and the class that you have right now, or you can multi-class into another class, and then you get other features from that. Like you get to choose your spells and things like that. With Pathfinder, you choose your class, and then there are basically several choices to make from that class. There's your specialty in the class. You choose one of those specialties, and then there's feats that you gain every level, whether they're skill feats or general feats or class feats, and you choose from those. So that's your choice in that instance. So that's what I got for everybody today. I hope everybody enjoyed, and I will catch everybody later.